Has something crazy ever happened to you while you were in the car? With almost 250 million licensed drivers in the US alone, the things we capture on vehicle dash cams are insane. Today we have 3 crazy dash cam videos for us to dive into. Messiah is taking us back to the golden age of 97. What happened, dude?
April 3rd, 1997, to be exact. Garden City, Georgia. Officer Wayne Daniels, doing his normal late night shift, I believe just clocked in around 9 p.m. or so, went on the road and started patrolling. And what most cops do, they find themselves a spot to nest a little bit, then they monitor the roads. What Officer Daniels saw that night would stick with him the rest of his life. Now this video here is one of the first videos that I ever personally saw on YouTube about 15 years ago. Maybe back in like 08 or something. And this video has always stuck with me personally because Officer Daniels begins to tail a white sedan that he is finding driving erratically. About 11:30 at night when this happens, and he turns on his lights, attempting to pull this vehicle over. And at this point, Officer Daniels realizes this is not a normal stop. This car begins to speed off, slamming on its brakes, almost like brake checking the police officer, swerving in and out, pulling U-turns around here, left, right. So as what cops do, because they don't want themselves to get in a car accident or damage, or other people get hurt, he begins to make left and right turns. The cop car eventually catches up to the white sedan again. At this point, the sedan pulls into a side street. It then turns into a auto garage. The cop's really close to it, begins to make the same turns that car is doing. As the cop turns to follow the white sedan, it is stopped with a steel fence. The white sedan is on the other side of the steel fence, and the taillights disappear into the distance. Now, when the cop gets out of the car and begins to look around and inspect the fence, realizes that there's nothing wrong with the fence.
Wait, so the car just went through it?
The car went through the fence. Obviously, Officer Daniels, very confused of the situation, begins to go into the auto yard, and no car or person was ever found, leading the city and the news and the people of Garden City, Georgia, to coin this the ghost car of Garden City, Georgia.
I think we can deduce who's driving. It's Dr. Strange. He ported through the fence.
I saw a lot of people say it was the Back to the Future people.
Marty and Doc doing 88 miles per hour in the DeLorean.
What if it was a DeLorean?
That'd be even crazier.
Sick.
People would be losing their mind.
That'd be dope.
People are already losing this mind. This is one of the most infamous clips of I guess, paranormal unsolved mystery history.
Apparently both of you guys knew about it, and it's apparently viral.
Mega famous.
But
It was
I've
one of
never
the
seen it
first
before.
videos I remember, again, like I said, on the internet, that I was like, what the?
Maybe I'm just younger than you guys.
You're not that young.
Hey, you're like a year younger than me, bro.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not up to you geezers.
We have a
Nah,
bunch of
dude.
boomers out here.
That hairline says different. Dog.
Sorry.
Oh, he said you got a receding hairline.
Funny because I'm dressed like a fuckboy right now. This video makes me wonder, and I have a general question for you guys. Have you guys ever been chased by the police?
No, I have one quick story. I had one time I thought I was being chased, and I'm not gonna say what I was doing publicly, but I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. Dude, I looked up and I saw 10 cop cars behind me with flashing lights. And I pulled over and I freaked out. One ran up to my car, and then I put my hands out the window, and then all of a sudden they just ran back to the cars and kept going.
What?
I don't think I think they realized that I wasn't the person they were looking for. So I was shook, and I got to work, and I was a bunch of cops just pulled me over, but then they kept going, and everyone's like, whoa, what? And then we looked, and there was a manhunt for a guy.
Fucking manhunt? That's insane.
Yeah, I guess he escaped from something.
I have been foot chased by a police officer along with like 11 of my friends when we were in high school. And we hopped this like big ass brick wall. We tried to cross a fence. It's hard to explain. We tried to go underneath a plastic fence that led into an apartment complex because there was like a little hole that we could all fit through. Maybe like an animal dug it. It was snowy out. So like I just seen all my friends, all 11 of my friends, like one by one, they're just slipping right through this hole and sliding underneath the fence like a fucking cartoon. Just zip, zip, zip. And then I go underneath. I go to like slip underneath, but I've always been like a husky kid. I go to slide underneath the plastic fence, and instead of sliding underneath and going through the hole, I just take the entire fucking fence section with me. Like I just blow through the plastic fence, and I rip down the whole fence section. And we still got away. I mean, I don't even know why the cop was chasing us. One of my buddies probably did something. It wasn't too crazy. We were probably throwing snowballs at cars or something, but
I'm like so afraid of like getting in trouble, like for like something. Like my biggest fear is that I got summoned to jury duty, and I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty loose with my mail. I'd be like, yeah, it looks like bullshit, and I'll just throw it away or just not even look. My biggest fear is that I got summoned to jury duty like 5 years ago and I didn't know, and I have like a warrant. Why they like, dude, you're gonna send me a letter in the mail? Like, you got my email probably. You probably have my phone number.
Yeah, they really should send someone like out to your house.
Tell me like when I go renew my license every year.
Yeah.
Maybe, hey, you're eligible this year. Keep an eye out or so. I don't know. There's got to be a better system than just like, I don't know. Good luck. Hope you show
Even
up.
a voicemail. People are more likely to check their voicemail than a fucking letter.
Dude, I don't know. So you guys are freaking me out.
I actually don't have a story about that because I am a good child and I don't do anything.
That's not true.
But I'm not going to share it on the internet. But if you would like to share your police chase cop story, put it down in the comments or message us on Discord. I want to hear about it.
If you have footage of it somehow, bonus points.
But I actually do have a story where the cops are actually the ones being chased. So let's set the scene. 10:30 a.m., April 22nd, 2021. The nice sunny day, and there's two people driving an armored car. Now, little did these people know, there's actually a plot going on to hijack this car. Now, this was no ordinary plot. This was a plot made by highly trained individuals. These individuals were combat professionals. They were ex-military. They were ex-police force. They had knowledge. Now, these individuals will be coming strapped. They keep that motherfucking things on them. They have phone jammers. They have whatever else you could think of, really, to take on a heist. They also bribed some people that had knowledge on where this truck would be. They got the route information of the truck, and then they took action. Now, the one thing that these thieves did not know about was that there was a man behind the wheel of this truck. That man was named Leo Prinsloo, a 12-year counter-terrorism vet.
Whoa. You're telling me this guy with this credentials is moving iPhones?
Yes.
That's that Apple Care, dude.
Apple's laying down the line.
Yeah, dude.
They were like, we need your top guy. And they're like, on it.
Send in Prinsloo.
Prinsloo.
Did you want the Prinsloo protection on that today?
Send him in. Shown in this video, you can see Prinsloo being calm and attentive behind the steering wheel. He's checking, he's doing his job, really. He's also got his partner, Lloyd, next to him, also just being calm and collective. And then it happens. The hijackers come up on the side of the truck. They stay in the blind spot to where Prinsloo cannot see them, about a 5 o'clock angle, and they just start open firing. They start spraying the car down. Their intent was to immediately kill the driver, where the car would be immobilized. They would take out the partner, and then they would loot whatever else is in the car. They wanted to come in, and they needed to get a job done. But Leo's training took over, and it became a chase scene, basically from the movie Mission Impossible. You pick one. There's a bunch of them. Just pick a Mission Impossible movie. So Leo's swerving, doing everything that he can just to make sure that this truck does not flip over. If they flip over, it's done. They're done. And it got to the point where he's doing an offensive driving, where he's trying to drive the truck into the people that are shooting them with their backup. They were able to get out safely. Now, the videos leaked out and Leo became an instant hero on the internet.
Is it crazy to say that I'd want to do that just once?
Yes.
Just one time. If
Yes.
like the
You would have to
vehicle was
guarantee survival, right?
That's what I'm saying. The vehicle was completely bulletproof, you see, and like they took a bunch of rounds from what I'm assuming are assault rifles. I would love to do it, dude. Put me in the driver's seat. I'm going.
You think you could whip it like that, bro?
I think I could try. Either that or put me in Lloyd. Put me in Lloyd's seat. I'll also be the gunner, dude.
I will tell you right now that it is not a for sure thing that it will save you. You will not for sure be okay with this. During an interview with Leo, he went on to say about a week later, one of his coworkers was murdered with this same exact situation. He got shot and they ended up stealing everything from his car.
You know what it is?
What?
Criminals smartened up and probably changed to like armor-piercing ammo. Both of those dudes got to get paid a lot to do that. They have to.
I would hope so. This was not a one-off incident. Like I said before, the coworker ended up passing away a week later with the same situation. But to top it all off, you want to know the kicker of this? The crazy shit? The partner in that vehicle, Lloyd, it was his 4th day on the job.
Oh, wow. I don't want to do it, man. I kind of want to be some sort of person with a weapon. Just don't send me to Ukraine.
I feel like you're safer in Ukraine than down the streets of anywhere else in America.
I'll do it in like Norway.
They don't have guns, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. So just send me in there with like some bear mace.
Just bear macing strangers as you drive by. Just spray it out the car.
Accidentally pop it off inside the car, so we have to get out because we're all choking.
It's backwards and you just spray yourself in the eye. Hey, it's Rebel, and for our sponsor on today's episode is ourselves. We don't have a sponsor. So if you made it this far, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, maybe hit subscribe. For all the audio listeners out there, feel free to hit the follow button. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to us. We appreciate you. Let's get back.
Guy's 4th day on the job, that was a ride from hell for him. Even if he did like remain calm and seem cool, you know he was going through some shit in his head.
Oh, yeah.
Another ride from hell is a ride this father and son took in Montana.
Kinky, but okay.
What?
August 12th, 2018. Justin and Charles Bilton, a father and son from Montana, spending a weekend together and decided to go on a hike. They live a few miles away from Glacier National Park in Montana, so they decided to go to the nearest car rental and make the few-mile trip up into the national forest. What they didn't know was something that happened in the forest the night before was going to make their hiking trip a living nightmare.
Some areas were deemed unsafe due to conditions.
The area they were going to hike in Glacier National Park was Lake McDonald. And Lake McDonald is kind of shaped like a sausage, if you will. They were going to hike on the east side of Lake McDonald, about 2.5 miles off the coast of it. So the trail, once they get into the national forest, is about 3 miles long. Then they're another 2.5 miles up into a dead-end trail. So where they were hiking, dead-ended at a trailhead. You park your car, you get out, you hike, and you're done. You get back in your car and you go out the way you came. Justin and his dad parked their car at the trailhead, got out, and did about half of the hike. Because halfway through, they noticed something in the distance. There was smoke plumes coming from the forest and going into the sky. Justin asked Charles if he heard about any forest fires. Charles says no. They both listened to the news this morning. They didn't see anything. They didn't know those plumes of smoke is a fire that would be known as the Howe Ridge Fire. that would go on to burn almost 8,000 acres of national forest.
Park spokesperson Lauren Alley says the fire burned actively through the night with single tree torching and spotting, producing growth to the southwest.
Now, this fire had only been burning for a few hours. It started the night before from a lightning strike. After discussing it for a few minutes, Justin and his dad decided to hoof it back, get in their car, and make their way out. Now, it's a good hour hike from where they were on the trail back to the trailhead where they parked their rental car. But they try to make pace as best they can. Now, Justin's dad is 70 years old and he's 37, so he had to tend to his dad on this trail. They couldn't go super fast. By the time they reached their car, the Howe Ridge fire had spread immensely. I don't know if you guys have ever been in the woods and know what I'm talking about when you can kind of like look through the trees at a specific angle and you can kind of see a little bit further into the forest. Like if you walk, you can see between trees at a perfect angle and it lets you see a little bit further than you could normally see. Well, they did that. They were walking to the car, looking in between the trees, and they could see these flames getting closer. So they're talking to each other and they're saying, this thing's spreading really fast. So they get in their car, they start it up, put it in reverse, and start going out the way they came. Now, after the first bend, it doesn't seem that bad. You can see flames in the distance, but it's not that close. They're talking in the car. Justin turns on his video recording device, and they're just discussing the fire and their general plan of action on getting out. Around the second bend is where the flames start to look a little bit too close for comfort. Justin's dad, Charles, is urging him to go slow. Seeing Justin eager to leave, he's going faster and faster down the trail. The last thing Charles wants his son to do is tip them over the edge of the trail, which sat right on the edge of a giant hill and into the flames. Around the third bend, the flames get closer. Pieces of ash start to rain in the distance a few feet away. Justin is slightly ignoring his dad's calls to slow down. Being anxious and frightened by the flames, he just wants to get out of there. Around the fourth bend is where they enter what looks to be hell. The flames go from distant, from a few feet away, to right next to the car. Pieces of ash and embers scatter across the windshield as they make their way down the trail. Justin's still ignoring his dad's pleas for going slower. At one point, Justin asks his dad, "What if we do if the car explodes?"
"Dad, the car is heating up. It's gonna explode."
His dad replies, "Then we're dead." After a few more minutes of driving, the flames are scattered across the road. They're running over burning pieces of trees. Then Justin asks, "What do we do? There's a tree in the road." A few seconds after he asked that question,
"Dad, we can't get out."
"I'm getting out. You can't drive
they
back."
pull up on a gigantic burning tree blocking the road. Flames surrounding the car. Justin and his dad panic as they try to come up with a plan. They're saying, "What do we do? What do we do?" Charles, thinking quickly, says, "Well, put on some gloves. We got to get out of the car, and we have to move this burning tree out of the road so we can get through this fire and get home." Now, mind you, if they don't go this way, they're trapped, surrounded by a burning forest closing in on them. And that is where the video ends. Now, we don't see anything after Charles suggesting that they put on gloves and move this burning tree out of the road. However, it is not where the story of Justin and his dad ends, because instead of picking that tree up and moving it out of the way, Justin says, "Dad, get back in the car." Charles gets back in the car, quickly thinking, just like Leo in the last video, whips it in reverse, pulls a 180, and goes back the way they came toward Lake McDonald. They go back through the flames, back through the debris in the road, getting closer and closer to the water until they're seemingly out of the fire. However, they're still trapped with nowhere to go. Justin and his dad get out of the rental car. They look into the water and they see none other than some forest patrol officers in a dinghy boat in Lake McDonald. Frantically, Charles and his son wave over to the patrol officers, who are waving back at them. The patrol officers get Justin and his dad on board and safely get them out of the burning forest just in time, ultimately saving their lives. Both officers and the father and the son make it across Lake McDonald to the other end of the forest where it wasn't burning, and then get offshore to safety. Now, the sad thing about the story is the rental Ford did not survive.
Fuck!
But Justin and his dad did, so we're all good.
Honestly, that was good timing. Those people in the dinghy to be there.
Yeah, it was like a movie.
Yeah, what if they weren't?
They probably would have tried to swim across the lake. It wouldn't have worked, though, because the lake's huge. They would have died trying, especially his dad. No offense to old people, but you guys aren't swimming across the lake.
Shit's weak.
If you have ever experienced anything crazy while driving, or even better, have it on video, doesn't have to be, join the Discord below and share your experience with the community. We may even feature it on an episode. Hit that like, grab subscribe. While you're at it, give yourself a hug because you're a real one for making it this far on Plastic Lounge. We'll see you next time.
You say grab subscribe?